I have compared the earnings between the Helium stock antenna and a cheap Amazon antenna for 86 days to see which earns more. This video also shows how profitable helium mining is for people that live in apartments in cities. And I also compared having the stock antenna next to one window and another time next to two windows to see if there were any earnings difference. Alright, let's get into the video. I always wondered if I could earn more with my helium miner by changing from the stock antenna to another antenna. And on Amazon there are a lot of very cheap antennas, so I decided to try one out. And since I live in a city and in an apartment with quite a lot of many helium miners nearby, I am looking for a lower dBi antenna because I want this bubble coverage all around me that goes both high and low. The stock antenna is 4 dBi, but I wanted to check if lower was better, so I got this Bingfu 3 dBi antenna. Now, setup for this comparison is quite simple. I will run a few weeks with the stock antenna, then I will switch and run with the Bingfu antenna for a few weeks, and then I will compare the results. I also tried out another thing, and that was to have my stock antenna either by one window in my apartment or by two windows, facing different ways to see if that improved my earnings. Okay, so how did we do? Well, first up I ran 28 days by the solo window with the stock antenna and earned in total about 2.92 HNT, which is about 0.1 HNT per day. After that I switched the exact same position to the Bingfu antenna and ran it for 37 days. This setup made me about 2.81 HNT over 37 days, so around 0.076 HNT per day. Then I put the stock antenna back on and swapped the position to the double windows and had it there for 21 more days. And that made me 1.9 HNT, which equals about 0.09 HNT per day. So I know the network reward distribution could matter here a lot, since it seems that the earnings decrease over time overall, but the fact that the stock antenna earned both more and after I ran the Bingfu antenna, I think it's safe to say that it indicates the Bingfu antenna did not increase my earnings. Instead, it resulted in a decrease in my earnings. So don't throw away the stock antenna that comes with your Bobcat miner, it can be quite useful. So how profitable is it to have a helium miner in an apartment in a city with large buildings around you? Well, let's say my earnings are 0.09 HNT per day and that those will stay the same. Today's price of HNT is about $9.23 per HNT, so for me to reach the ROI, the return on investment of $500 for this Bobcat miner, that would currently take me about 602 days. However, if the price of HNT is doubled, that would take half the time and vice versa. And another thing is that I think that the HNT earnings will only become lower and lower over time. Okay, so how about the window comparison? Was it better to have the stock antenna near two windows instead of one? Well, no, not really. The earnings was about the same. Sometimes it even depends on what your walls or your windows are made of, because sometimes the signals from the helium miners have an easier time traveling through your walls instead of through your windows, but that differs depending on where you live. But for me, it did not really matter where I placed my miner. Alright, if you like these simple comparisons on crypto miners, leave a like on the video and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.